Good morning, everyone. This is Rama On Writing, coming to you live from a beautiful, sunny Sedona, Arizona. Well, we're working with a lot of new authors from our last retreat, and some of the other authors are finally getting caught up to the point where it's website development time. And I thought it would be very good for Greg to come on board and tell us a little bit about website development in a general way, not a specific way. I think sometimes we get so caught up in the minuscule that we kind of lose sight of how things are going on and what we need to do. And then there was some good comment brought up in the webinar during the week, and I have a couple of questions for Greg about that as well. Well, let's start out by having Greg do an intro. When I say intro with Greg, I like him to share the information that he wasn't always a web person, so that we can all, realize that, hey, it takes time and effort, but we can all grow and we can all learn. We can all become very proficient at web, functions that we have to deal with. So, Greg, you got the ball.
Thanks, Rama. Yeah, actually, I used to do software development for warehouse management software. Me and my old partner, John Rybar, who was one of Tom's graduates, we had a company together. And then John did all the websites, so I kind of really never bothered with doing website stuff. And then it wasn't until later on that I started getting involved with it a little bit more. And each step I took, you dig a little more, and it's like, oh, wow, there's a whole bunch of information here and a whole bunch of information there. And I told Rama one day, I said, yeah, if someone ever came to me and said, you're going to know all this information by the end, I would have said, there's no way I'm even going into that, because there's no way I'm going to learn that much. So it's been definitely a process of revealing more and more and more. And I know it's not going to stop, because the web is ever evolving, and so is the software that we use to build the web on. So there's always going to be something new, better, faster, stronger, more everything. So that's the thing, is roll with the times, make your updates, and keep everything fresh. So let me go ahead and do a screen share, or do you want to talk some more, Rama?
No, why don't you do a screen share, Greg, and get started. I'll interrupt with stupid questions along the way, so that everyone can take a benefit from those. And we'll move ahead, and hopefully there'll be some questions people have along the way.
Okay, hopefully everyone's seeing it. Says standard website, Silvernight Solutions.
Yeah, it's very clear.
Okay, good. So there's some contact information. Are you getting feedback from me at all?
No, you're coming through loud and clear. Perfect. I love this Zoom system, because it really does cut down on the feedback we used to get with GoToMeeting.
Yeah, I remember that. So there's two of my websites that you can find information from. So, and then there's two email addresses that you can use. I put up the Gmail one because Gmail seems to be easier, especially when people are sending me images and book covers. Gmail seems to handle large image files. So you can use either one of those email addresses. And then the Silvernight web store, that's where we'll talk about. You can get domain names and web hosting and email accounts there. So, and I'll show this slide at the end of the presentation too, if you're trying to write it down. So a quick intro to your online presence. So the value and importance of a website. Well, it's cost effective, available to everybody. Everybody can get on the internet, so they can find your website. They're easy to update. At least with the websites that I'm going to build for you, they're easy, not the websites that are homegrown. It builds your credibility. It's also your marketing and sales tool. And then another online presence is your email marketing. If you want a free trial of Constant Contact, you can use that URL there. Free email marketing solutions. And then there's search engine optimization. And this is when we optimize web pages to make it easier for the search engines to know what's on our web page, so that when someone does a Google search for specific information, we've already optimized that page to let the search engine know exactly what's there, so that they can present the correct information to the person doing the search. And then there's the social media. That's another online presence, and there's lots of different social media nowadays. So I always say start with one or two, get comfortable, and then you can add more. So all these things help build your online presence. So the components of a website. Well, there's a domain name, there's website hosting, and then there's website programming, which uses languages like PHP, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. You don't have to worry, you don't have to know those things, but these are some of the different languages. Now, your author website is going to be built using the WordPress platform. Now, WordPress is software, and it's built using all of those programming languages that I just mentioned. Now, let's start with the domain name. The domain name, it's a unique name that's used to identify your website. The domain name should be easy to remember, related to your content of your website, and short as possible. So examples. Now, here's three: silverknightsolutions.com, silverknightauthorwebsites.com, google.com. Now, you noticed it's mixed case I'm showing with the capital letters. When you have a domain name, it's case insensitive. It doesn't matter whether it's upper or lower case when you type it in. I do that for readability. You can do that on your printed material for easy readability. But domain names, basically you can type them all lowercase and you'll still get to the website.
Hey, Greg, I got a stupid question right at the start here.
Yeah.
On your slide where it says picking a domain name, you have it listed as http:// and then silverknightauthorwebsites.com. What's the difference between the HTTP component and just the normal www.silverknightauthorwebsites.com?
I'm glad you're reading my mind, Rama. And I did that specifically on this slide to not put that in the examples, the HTTP. What those are URLs. So that's the standard way of addressing a website when you put it into a web browser. Okay, so the HTTP : // so those letters, everything is very specific. If you don't have that in there for the URL, then you won't find the website. Now, let me clarify that. That's only if you're going to type it in like you see on this text document. If I click on that, it will take me out to that website. But if I go and click on google.com, it's not going to take me there because it's not a fully qualified URL. It doesn't have the HTTP. Now, in your web browser, all you need to type in is google.com. The web browser handles adding in the HTTP : / for you. That's automatic. You don't have to worry about that unless you're typing it in on a search bar, which is different than the address bar. So there's two different things there with web browsers. So the HTTP : is the full URL when you want to use it in printed material or you're creating a link. That's what's called a hyperlink. But just to say the domain name, if you're going to buy a domain name, it's just like google.com. That's the domain name. And then, like I said, these links here, you can go to Silver Knight Author Websites, and on the home page, let me just show you that real quick. You can get a PDF download of domain name examples. So if you just scroll down here, what is a domain name? Just click that PDF download, and then you'll get examples of different author domain names. And some of them are like misspellings. So you see my author name, Silver Knight. Well, some people might leave out the K. So I went and bought the Silver with just the NIGHT domains as well. So that way people will still be able to find my website.
Hey, Greg, I got another stupid question.
They're never stupid questions.
In your opinion, which would be better, or what would actually be the main difference if I decided that I wanted to use ramajohn.com versus ramajohnauthor.com?
I would say if you can get ramajohn.com, go for that one first, because that would be your brand. Now, if Ramajohn is an author, an actor, all these other things, then you could specialize your website and say Ramajohn, the author, like you're kind of pulling out one piece aspect of Ramajohn, unless you're going to build that umbrella, which is Ramajohn, and then you have multiple websites under that, which could be Ramajohn author, Ramajohn the writer, and so on. But if Ramajohn is not available, you can go with Ramajohn author, because that's what you're promoting yourself as, an author. And it might be helpful for people to remember as well, because author, I'm communicating with somebody. Yeah, it's the author of this book. So you want to be careful though sometimes, because let's say the ramajohn.com domain, it's really, really popular. And if you're in conversation with somebody, yeah, go to my website, ramajohnauthor.com, and they just hear Ramajohn, they might go to the wrong website. So that's what you want to be careful of, is think about it as if you're in conversation with somebody and you're trying to tell them your website. You want them to be able to easily remember it, so that they get home, they can type it in and not have to worry about misspelling it or going to the wrong website.
Hey, Tom Pitts asked a pretty good question that might be somewhat related. I mean, how important is the name to the SEO of the website? So, for example, if it was Ramajohn versus Ramajohn author, if I was promoting myself as an author, would the SEO be better, or is that not really related?
Yeah, it is helpful, because you see the one website of mine, Silver Knight Author Websites. So that gives me a little more credibility, because the keyword is in my actual domain, Author Websites. Now, sometimes that's not always possible to do, but that's my branding. I'm branding as that website as Author Websites. Now, I have the Silver Knight Solutions, which is a little different. So as an author, you're branding yourself, your own name. So you're building it upon that. Now, if you have a publishing company like Helene, she has Purple Zebra Productions or publishing. So our publications, I think it is now. I can't remember now. Sorry, Helene. But that's the thing. She's going to build her brand around that, and that's what she's going to promote. But her name is associated with that as well, too. So, but the website is on a specific domain name. So you got to think about how you want to brand yourself and how easily you want people to find your website.
It's a good thing that domain names are rather cheap to register, so that you can cover yourself if you wanted to do the ramajohn.com and then the ramajohnauthor.com. You might want to tie them both up, just so that, there's very little likelihood that there's going to be another author that uses the name Ramajohn, but some of us have a name that's somewhat common. And so,
yeah, like if your name's Mary Smith, I doubt very much that marysmith.com is available. So you might want to consider, maybe when you put your name on your book, maybe it's initials. Think of the actor Michael J. Fox. Okay, no one goes around and calls him Mike Fox or Mikey Fox. When you reference him in any type of story, you're saying Michael J. Fox. That's his name. He uses his full name. So by over and over, that's in our heads. That's how we recognize and identify with him. So you as an author, you're going to do the same thing. How are you going to push your name out there? Is it going to R.K. Rowling, or is it going to be, something different, the full name, or just the initial, or maybe two initials, C.J. Smith, that's something more catchy, but Smith is still, a common name there. So these are things to think about as you're deciding where you want your website's home to be.
Greg, we're still a little bit confused on the difference between the HTTP component and the www component. Now, Amy has has said that when you plug the the .com into the web browser, it assumes the www. But is there any way to describe the difference between the HTTP component and the www component?
Yeah, let me do this. All right, I'm just going to pull up. This is basically a blank, fresh install of WordPress here, and this is using the Firefox web browser. So right here in this first section, this is the address bar, and over here this is the search bar. So they're two different things. I'm going to open a new tab here. So it says enter address. So nowadays, before we always had to put the www in there. It's not necessary anymore. The web browsers recognize that it's the URL will work with or without the www. So since I'm in the address bar, the web browser doesn't need for me to type in the full HTTPS. I can just type in silvernightwebstore.com and hit enter, and it's going to then find the website. Now, if I click in here and do a copy, it's going to copy everything and show me the full. I'm trying to get it to show it. It's not showing it. But if I hover my mouse here, let me do it again here. See it pops up the HTTP. That's the fully qualified address of this website, the HTTP colon. That's a directive for the web browser to help it know, because there's also a directive called HTTPS, and that's when a web browser web page is secure with the S. So this is a little, did you know, if you're ever shopping online and you're entering your personal information, credit card information, make sure you see HTTPS in the browser, because that means that that page is secure. But the web page, the URL is shop.silvernightwebstore.com. I don't have to type in. It makes it easier for us to not needing the HTTP. It's the web browser handles that for us.
Greg, the next logical question from all this is, if I'm creating a flyer, okay, this is a hard copy flyer. This is not an internet flyer, right? Do I then write down for my web address the www.ramajohn.com on that flyer to help people understand that? Or could I just write ramajohn.com, or is there no real difference anymore?
You can put the HTTP in there to help people recognize that that's a web address, because let me bring back the slide again. So just looking at this, silvernightsolutions.com, you could quickly read that and think it's just a part of a sentence. But when you put in that HTTP, that's like a quick identifier saying, oh, that's a web address, so that kind of helps draw your attention to it, knowing it. Now, if I go back to my web browser here again, I can type in http://silvernightwebstore.com, and then it removes it, and it just shows you the URL. It's understood that it's there. Because if I copy that, I'm going to copy it now, and I'm just going to go over here in the search bar and paste it. See, it adds in that HTTP when I paste it. So when you're copying a link to put in an email and you copy this address, it's going to copy that HTTP because it's there. You just don't see it. And it's important. It's a part of the address, but to make it easier for people to not have to remember all that, the web browsers handle that for us. But in a document, I would say go ahead and put the HTTP in there, because it helps to show that, yes, this is a web address. If you're looking at it like quickly, you see, oh, I've seen that before. That's a website address. And up here, it's not as apparent because it's just the letters and not necessarily the directive itself. Like if you see an email, the @ symbol quickly tells you that's an email address with the @ symbol.
Okay, thanks, Greg. You can continue on. I've probably confused everyone enough at this point on this point.
Hopefully I didn't confuse anybody either. I don't know. I mean, the main thing to remember is that this example of your website, this is your domain name. You don't have to worry about the www, and you don't have to worry about the http : when you're getting your domain or typing it into a web browser. Okay. Now, when you're creating a link on your blog post, then yes, this HTTP is important, but that's a different topic, a different time.
Well, Greg, you may be covering this next, but let me ask it now because it just came to mind. How do I get a domain name?
How do you get a domain name? Well, that's very simple. Now that screenshot I had up, you can go right here to the Silvernight web store, and you can start from the home page. You can just go to silvernightwebstore.com, and you can start searching for domains. And type in the domain here and click search, and it'll let you know if it's available. And if it says, yes, it's available, let's just see, ramajohn.com. So that's all I need. I don't need all the www, and I don't need I just want the domain, the actual domain. I click search, and it's going to let me know if it's available or not.
Better not be.
Oh, man, somebody has this already. So, but it does tell me that, hey, ramajohn.guru is available. So I could buy ramajohn.guru or news, or, there's a lot of these are called TLDs, top level domain. That's the ending, the .com or the .club or whatever. So it'll give you suggestions of other ones if you want to try something slightly different than that. And here's other examples of the extensions. Now, .author has not been released. I've been waiting, and I have an alert set so when it does show up. So hopefully that'll be someday. But yeah, there are other ones like Guru. That's one of the ones. Life, media, email. So they're adding more and more each time. So.
And Greg, just to clarify for everybody, this search that you just did is really a search on the GoDaddy domain search. Is that correct?
Well, domains are all over the world. The people that register the domains, they're called a registrar. And there's different companies that register the domains with one entity that says to make sure that all domains are unique. So whether you get your domain from GoDaddy or some other place or the Silvernight web store, all those domains are registered in the main suppository so that it's like common, so that no one can duplicate that domain name. Doesn't matter where you get the domain, it's registered, you own it, and it's strictly for you only then once it's purchased. But each place you go to can handle like the registering of domains.
Well, let me ask the question this way. If you are going to be my web designer, is it easier for you to have us register our domains through the Silvernight portal as opposed to GoDaddy or Network Solutions or something like that?
Yeah, it's easier for me because what I do is then, because you got it through the Silvernight web store, I will handle, setting up the hosting, linking it to the domain name. Whereas if you got it somewhere else, I'm going to ask you to do all that for me. And that way you might have to do some things that you don't really know how to do. So by getting it here, it's like you're dealing with me as opposed to you having to deal with support from some other company.
And then the next logical question is, if I had it through Network Solutions or GoDaddy, how difficult is it to get it transferred so that it's easier for you to work with?
When it's at GoDaddy, it's real easy. that transfers go well. Network solutions, it takes a little longer because most, they don't want to lose the domain, so they make it they have to release it. They cannot prevent you from it, but they make it a little more difficult. And I can assist with that as well. If you want to, you just let me know the transfer. You give me the account information for where it's at, and then I can help you with that. And the other thing you would need to do is look for emails related to the transfer and then forward them to me so I can take the proper actions by entering the right authorization codes in that. So, but yeah, if you have, like some people, when they come to me, may have purchased a domain years ago before they came to me, and they say, yeah, I want to transfer them over. That way everything's in one account, my domains and hosting, and I do assist them with that. And with the web store, you can see here, there's a 24/7 sales and support number that you can call, and they can assist as well if I'm not available too. So they're always available.
Okay, Greg, thanks. You can now keep going with your presentation.
Okay. All right. So that's for domain names, and like I said, you can go to these places, these URLs here to get examples. Now, as you notice, my mouse, we were talking about hyperlinks, so it knows that this is a hyperlink because of the HTTP colon. If I move it up over here at google.com, the mouse is just a regular arrow because it's not hyperlinked. It doesn't have the qualified HTTP colon. So that's a big difference on printed material. Well, not printed material, but like when you're online for links. Okay, so after the domain names, there's a thing called web hosting. So you might say, well, why do I need web hosting? Well, web hosting is a storage device that houses all of your website's content, the images, the videos, and other downloadable documents. So I've been asked, well, will this be set up on my computer? And the important thing is no, it has nothing to do with your own personal computer. There's warehouses full of servers running nonstop with redundant hard drives, and they keep your website running pretty much 99% of the time. Sometimes they're referred to as server farms, and they maintain the equipment, so that way you don't have to buy a computer and maintain it all the time to keep the website running. Now, I like to explain like domain names and web hosting as, think of a domain name as like the address of your house. Like if you live on 123 Market Street,
excuse me one second.
That would be like the domain name. It's the address. Whereas the web hosting, it's like your house. Your house stores all your personal belongings, your furniture, your clothing. The web hosting, similar. It stores all of your website's personal information, the content, the images, everything like that. So that's the analogy I like to use for explaining web hosting and domain names. So through the web store, there's a new type of hosting. It's called managed WordPress. And since so many websites are now becoming WordPress websites, they decided to create web hosting specifically for WordPress websites. So some of the key things, optimize WordPress servers that's built for more performance, 24/7 support again, helps keep hackers away. There's load balancing on the servers to handle spikes. There's multiple layers of caching to make it efficient. SSD drives, which stands for solid state, means it's very fast. And there's additional security on the deluxe and ultimate plans. And then you can find out more about that at that URL. I'll just bring that up quick here. You just go to web hosting. There's hosting plans, but then here, WordPress site blog hosting. So there you can check out the different plans. And now if you already have a website, it's on WordPress, that can be converted to the managed WordPress hosting as well if you want to do that. So.
Hey, Greg, this may be beyond the normal scope of what we're going to cover, but when I first had my Mountain Bike Heaven website, I was paying about $540 a year for that. And when I got to know you, I transferred everything over to you, and the price was significantly less. Can you give people an idea of why some web hosting is extremely expensive and others aren't?
Yeah, a lot of times it depends on the company that you go with. Some of them are smaller shops, so their overhead's more. It's not like the big boys in the game, like GoDaddy, they have thousands of servers, and they're able to keep the prices less. And basically what you're doing, it's called shared web hosting. You're sharing a server with other people that have websites. If you go to like maybe somebody local in your business who does web hosting, they might have limited number of computers. So they're maintaining that hardware. When a computer goes down, they got to pay for it, and they got to provide the upkeep of it. So that's expensive. Whereas they have more overhead in that case. So they're going to charge more to their customers to maintain that, to keep that service running for them. So that's why you might see differences in pricing for somebody who you go to local versus one of the larger companies. Now, I don't handle the servers myself. I'm basically a reseller for one of the large companies. So, and they have their own support team. And so that's why I chose them, because I use them. And every time I call for support, I got great answers. It was fast and efficient. I thought, you know what, this is going to be so much better for my customers so that they can use the same tool as well. Plus, they also get the discount of a large company being able to cut their prices because of how they manage their company.
Okay, thanks, Greg. You can go back to your presentation.
Okay. So the website software. So as I mentioned, the website is built with what's called open source WordPress software. Now, open source means it's free. There's a bunch of people, who basically started writing this program, and they wanted to give it to people to let them expand upon it and add their own programming to it too. And it's been growing ever since that started that way. And WordPress software is still free. And that's the software that I'll actually install for your website. It was initially created for blogging, which is a short for web log, which blog, if you take the B in the log, so that's where blog came from. It was a content management system. It had a database. So it stored its information in the database as opposed to flat files, which are just like text files. That's what the homegrown websites use. So another thing about using WordPress is it has interchangeable themes. So you can give your website a different look just by changing the theme. There's plugins for more functionality. And when I say plugin, a plugin is a small module of software that's added to the WordPress website, and it has a very specific job. So if, let's say I want to add share buttons for my social media. There's lots of plugins that I can choose from to add share buttons. And that's all the plugin does. It just adds share buttons. And each programmer does a little bit differently. And most of the plugins are free. And then they do have premium features in the plugins. And you can pay for the upgrade if you want some of those premium features. But again, pretty much all the plugins are free to start. And they give you a limited number of functionality. And if you want some of the extra functionality they have, you can upgrade. There's another plugin called the Broken Link Checker. And all it does, it just looks through the website and checks for broken links and then sends out an email if it finds one. So they're very specific tasks performed by the plugin. So if you want to add some functionality to a website, more than likely someone has written a plugin to handle that type of functionality. So we can probably find it on the WordPress website.
Speaking of plugins, Catherine mentioned the Jetpack plugin in her webinar last week. Can you describe that one? She's very hot on that one, so I know it's a good one.
There you go again. Read my mind again, Rama. So this next bullet point, WordPress.org versus WordPress.com. Now, WordPress.org is a nonprofit organization. They're the ones that provide the WordPress software. WordPress.com took that WordPress software, built their own website on WordPress.com, and they host websites for people. And they've grown and grown and grown, and they've taken over what's called one of the plugins called Jetpack. And Akismet, you may have heard of that. That's a spam blocker. And they keep adding more to their repository. Jetpack is a plugin of plugins, and you have to have a WordPress.com account. this gets real tricky sometimes, because when I say you need a WordPress.com account, but it's not the WordPress of your website. It's two separate things. So you'll need a WordPress.com account to use the Jetpack plugin. Within the Jetpack plugin, there's lots of other plugins functionality-wise. There's the social sharing. There's follow me blog. There's statistics. There's just a lot, and they keep adding more functionality to it all the time. Now, there's a trade-off here, because the more you add, then it might add more overhead to your website. So you want to be careful using the Jetpack plugin. You want to turn off things you're not using so it doesn't bog down your website. It has a lot of good in it, but then it can have a lot of overhead on your website too. So it's a balancing act. But the WordPress.com website is, they do host websites, but you have to, it has ads and other things, and you're limited in what you can do. Whereas the website I'm going to build for you, it's going to be on self-hosted. You have more control over it. There's no limitations. So that's the good thing about it.
Greg, in just off the top of your head, what percentage of our authors' websites have the Jetpack plugin?
There's not a whole lot. Catherine is one of the ones who's used it the most, because one of the things that's in that's right. There's a plugin in there called Publicize, and that's the big thing she uses it for. So when she creates a blog post, it will publicize out to her Facebook and Twitter page and LinkedIn page. So it will send out a link on those social media platforms, a link to her brand new blog post. So that saves a lot of time. So you don't have to go out to each of your social media and, oh, here's a new post, here's the link, so that it does those things for you. And that's the main reason that she uses the Jetpack plugin.
And then the obvious question is, if I wanted to install the Jetpack plugin on my website, or have you do that, what additional cost do I incur for doing that?
Just, if you have support with me, then, it would just go under you're against your support time. If you don't have support, then it's just, the time it takes me to link it up to your WordPress.com account, activate the plugin, configure whatever particular plugins you want within the Jetpack on. So it's just a time thing.
So essentially, the Jetpack plugin doesn't cost anything to use. It's just the time that is involved in incorporating it into the website.
Exactly.
Thank you.
So another thing about the WordPress, it's easy to build upon, but adding new plugins, and you can get up and running faster as opposed to building your website from the ground up. When I say ground up, I mean someone opens a text document and they start typing in code to build the web page. The WordPress platform has a lot of structure built into it already, so it makes it easier for you to add content yourself. You log in, you'll get a login to the back end of your website, which is called the dashboard. And from that dashboard, there's menus that you can access where you can add your own blog posts. You can add your own web pages. You can change the content, change your pictures, add new pictures, add PDF files to download, add video and audio files. So you will have a lot of control over your website. I'm here available for support if you get stuck. People tried to change things on their own and didn't quite go as they planned, and I get the email like, I tried to do this, and can you help me fix this or show me how? So either way, I can either go in there and fix it, or I can give you instructions on how to change it yourself the next time moving forward. So, and that really comes down to is how much you're going to be active with your website. The more you're doing it, the better you get at it, and you won't need my help as much. So that's the thing I want to push is like stay active with your website, because when you're posting blogs on a regular schedule, keeps the search engines coming back, looking for new material. And that's what we want. We want the search engines to know that we have new material, so that if someone's searching on that material, then hopefully we can get on the first page of Google's search results. So for your author website, your website base, think of it as like the jumping off platform that forms the solid base to begin promoting and selling your book. So what are you going to get? Well, currently you get 7 pages for your website. You get a home page. The home page can be static text. It could have an image slider. It could be your blog. You'll get an about the author page. This is where you tell your visitors all about yourself. You get an about the book page. You tell your visitors all about your book. There's a blog, your weblog. It's basically an online journal for everyone to see. And by continually blogging, it keeps your website active. And your contact page, so visitors can send you messages. So the remaining 2 pages, it's up to your creativity. But here are some potential pages that you can do testimonials. If you have early readers of your book and they've given you reviews, maybe you want to offer book samples and free chapters. If you have a media kit or press releases, or maybe you have characters in your book and you want to build some character background, you can write a whole web page on like the whole backstory of one of your characters. You can do, if you want to list your public appearances. Maybe there's a lot of information in your book and it leads to other questions. Maybe it's a scientific type book or a lot of facts, and people are always asking questions when you see them. Well, hey, in this part of the book, why did you do this? And you could have a frequently asked questions page to help your readers know what's going on inside your mind when you wrote the book. You have a photo gallery, embedded videos, audio downloads. Insert your creative ideas here. So some web page examples, like I said, the homepage could be static text talking about how great your book is that you're presenting. Again, about the author, about the book, possible free chapter download. Now, a lot of times if you're going to offer a free chapter, I say use that as an enticement for email marketing so that you can capture that person's email address when they visit your website. We'll talk more about that. And there was actually another webinar about email marketing. The blog page again, and the contact the author or testimonials. Now let's take a look at some examples of, let's see. So this is a basic install of what your website looks from scratch. So this is the standard install of WordPress. Let me do this. So now, if I add a theme to it, which a theme, it dresses up the website, gives it some look and appeal to it. So I'm just going to activate one of the premium themes. Now, it doesn't necessarily change it a whole lot, but it gives it a look. And I added some menus here, about the book, about the author. So it's still pretty bland. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done yet to make this, more of an acceptable website. But this is what happens when you first install everything, and you provide the content to me, the about the author write-up, the about the book write-up. If you have testimonials, send those to me as well. So that's the information, things that I'll need from you. So as a basic install, this is what it's going to look like until later on down the process. Now let me find another website here. So let's take a look at Phyllis's website. So now here is the same theme, but now with her book cover. Now this is a 3D image. This is an enhancement. Not all this is part of the website, but things that you can get added to your website. She provided me with this logo and the font for this. So then I created this logo banner for her. We have the buy button for her book to Amazon. So here a little bit about the book cover, and then here's her newsletter sign up, all here on the home page. And then down the page a little further, this is her recent blog post, and here's one of her testimonials. And then, there's links to, well, let's find out more, or let's read more blog posts. And again, another newsletter sign up. And then over here on the side, these are social share buttons. Now, it's different than a follow me button. Let me go to her blog page. These social share buttons are for when people want to share it on their own personal social media pages. Over here, follow me. This is if you want to follow Phyllis on Twitter or through an RSS reader. Okay, over here, these buttons are, let's say I have a Twitter account and I want to tweet about this page. That's what that's for. They're two separate different things for the website. Now you can see here her blog. She has some very nice pictures for each of her blurbs of her blog posts. And I always recommend having a picture for each of your posts to help make it stand out further. So that's one example. Another example of another author's website is Barbara Bras. So here on her homepage, it's a little bit different. We have the author picture here, not up in the banner, talking about the book and the book cover here, and then her newsletter sign up.
Hey, Greg, I'm still seeing Phyllis's website.
Okay, maybe it didn't update yet. Still?
Yeah, still there.
That's interesting. How about now?
There it is.
Okay. So she found this nice picture here in the forest, and we use this kind of like as a little heading banner here. So you can see the purple theme in her book and kind of kept that color flowing through the different components. And then here's her newsletter sign up, and then another banner going across the website there as well.
Hey, Greg, can you put up Catherine Carrigan's website for us?
Yeah. Do you want the unlimited energy? Her author website?
I think that just the Catherine Carrigan .com that's the one with all the pictures, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want people to see that as a component, radically different.
Yeah. Now this is a different type of theme.
As far as Barbara Bras' theme, what theme did she use? Did Phyllis and Barbara use the same theme essentially, or no?
Yes, they did actually, and that's the thing about that one theme. And that's the newest theme. One of the things about web browsers now is you need to have them mobile responsive, meaning no matter what kind of device you're reading the browser on, whether it's a phone, a tablet, or your computer, you want the web page to resize accordingly. Now, can you see Catherine's?
Yes.
So Catherine's website, it's not so much, it's one of the older themes. It's not as much mobile responsive, but this is really oriented because she has so many pictures, and these are all blog posts. If I move my mouse over, it's kind of like, okay, this is the blog post on this day. And here, this post on this day and time. So, and then up here, this is a message banner. So she's offering a discount. Now it scrolls through different messages, so you can listen to, sign up for the newsletter, get a free audio download. So, that's an extra enhancement. But as I resize the screen here, things change. Now, I'm not sure. I haven't tried Catherine's because hers is one of the older themes that she uses. And now she has another website which is using the same theme. Now, this is her business website. Now, this is using the same theme as Barbara and Phyllis. Now, as I try to resize this one, things are going to shift around. See how everything's changing to accommodate the new screen size. So that's what you want your website to do and that's what you want the theme to be able to do. So, and don't worry, I'll make sure you don't pick a theme that's not mobile responsive, but that's one of the things. I give you a list of different themes. Now here's an example of a pop-up email capture. So you want free healing advice, sign up. You can get the formula for healing success and and Healing with Juices. So this is what Catherine offers for her newsletter enticement. Now there's different types of pop-ups. Let me see if I can get Phyllis to show up here. Nope, I must have been to this page recently. So
Greg, let me ask another kind of loaded question here. This one I didn't say stupid. This one's loaded. Okay, so today I put up my website. I got all the components in. It's taken us a couple of months to get it up. We're pretty happy with it. How often do I really want to give that website a new facelift, and why would I do this?
I say, like, for instance, if you're going to write another book, you want to promote that book. So then you want to probably change the facelift of it. Maybe you want to change the colors to match the new book cover you have, or something, you're promoting something new. So for instance, I'm going to show you Nadine Nellen's website. Now, we did a facelift on hers recently. Can you see her website?
There it is.
Okay. So before, let me go to my Silver Knight Solutions homepage. You can see what her existing homepage looked like. So here, can you see the Silver Knight Solutions website?
Yeah.
So this is what it looked like before. She was promoting her book, Yes, I Do, and I Did, and there was a blurb right up with her social media. So that was in the beginning when we did her website. So now she's going through a different change where now she's promoting services that she provides, soul reading. So the web homepage changed quite a bit. So now here's more copy. Yes, I want to know what my soul is whispering. So this became more of like a landing page for her products and services as opposed to the book. So the book is kind of secondary now. So if things are shifting in your life where, okay, the book's been out for a while, now I'm trying to promote this, which maybe your book is related to one of the services that you provide. So then that would be a time when you might want to do, a facelift on the website. So this is an example of Nadine's, remake. And then she consolidated her menus. Now it's like about, so everything's under about Nadine, about the testimonials, about the book. And then we'll add another submenu here once she writes her next book, and about videos, a meditation, a video log, about her artwork and context. So she did some consolidation here to make things more concise than what we started off with originally. So
Greg, how much of the change was? How do I put this? How much did you recommend stuff to be changed, and how much was her input as to this is what I want now?
Yeah, she gave me everything how she wanted it, and we tweaked it until we got it the way she wanted. So, I think she was working with some type of marketing person that was making recommendations, and then they would talk back and forth. And then I would throw in my 2 cents about what, I don't think that looks right. I think we, depending on what it is, that I think we should do something different. Now, whether they take my advice or not, that's still up to them. But, I do offer that information. If I feel a little bit strongly about something, I'll say something. But for the most part, I let the author have full control of what they want.
Sounds good. Now I've got a question that's been asked of me a lot, and I kind of would like your answer. I know my answer, but there still seems to be a misconception here. A lot of our authors have never had a website before, so they don't necessarily understand the language of some of the simple things that at least I think is simple. And one of the things that I get is, what is the difference between Constant Contact and my website?
Okay. Constant Contact is a company that does promotions for you for email marketing, meaning they have the database that stores all your contacts. They have the software tool that allows you to build out a visual layout of a message that you send to through email to the people in your contact list. So they're providing those tools for you. And on your website, you try to engage people to sign up for that newsletter to add their name to that database. So your website is where you're promoting everything that you do. Constant Contact is to help you reach out and market to those people on your schedule. So as you build your list of contacts up, this is when, if you like, for instance, Nadine, she redid her website. Now she can send out a newsletter. She logs into her Constant Contact account, builds out a brand new newsletter, makes the announcement, hey, the website's been revamped. Take a look. Here's the new services that I'm offering, the soul readings. So now that was her way of reaching out to people who visited her website in the past to let them know, hey, there's something new now. So that's what Constant Contact is. It's a part of your, one of the legs of your marketing. And it's a great leg because think of somebody, let's say I came to this website and I'm like, yeah, this is some great information. And okay, yeah, I'm not ready to talk yet. So yeah, I want to sign up for the newsletter. So that's what you do. You sign up for the newsletter to get more information or to find out when things are changing because you want to be informed. You don't want to be left out. And that's the big thing.
Thanks, Greg. I think there is a lot of misconception with the difference between the website and the email marketing component of Constant Contact, and they are very tightly together because you put that list, join my newsletter, and when somebody puts their email address in there, that essentially is entered into the Constant Contact database. Correct.
Yep. And that's your list. I mean, you can download it and export it anytime you want, but they are the tool that you use to integrate with that. So they're helping you. But the thing is nice with Constant Contact, they don't just do email marketing. You can run Facebook promotions. You can also do public events. And you can create a landing page for the event and collect money for the event if you want. You can also run a poll or do a survey and have people ask questions. Nancy Perry, I built a survey for her, which is related to her book, which she gathers information from people. So these are the other products that Constant Contact has that can work with your email list and also help you build that list even further. Now, I'm showing you Elaine Yoshikawa's website, Thousand Blossoms. This is, again, using the same theme, Divi. Now, with her, we did some extra customizations. A lot of these changes aren't really part of the basic install. So a lot of these authors, they wanted to go above and beyond that. So, and that's fine. I'm able, we can do that type of thing. Now, if you notice, we got a beveled edge here. So it's got a little bit of a different look, to her homepage welcome. And again, here's her newsletter sign up. And she has some beautiful imagery that she provided to me for her website. So now on each of her pages, we kind of made it look a little bit different. So you'll see the different color header banners. It goes about the author and a different banner there as well.
Greg, just to clarify so that we don't people don't get misconceived notions here, when you do a customization like this, that would be an additional cost to the basic program provided by the Publish Now program. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of why I showed you that basic install of the work, like the very plain vanilla. Now, there is some things that that I'll do, imageries and, that I'll put on the website, but very specific things like that takes more time. And that's the nice thing about this Divi is it has lots of possibilities for doing minor tweaks like that, like on the homepage, just giving that little bit of a beveled effect on the homepage, So there's lots of ways we can customize things to make things look better that way. But yeah, it's just a matter, if you have support, then any specific changes like that goes against support, the support time.
Just to get an idea, Greg, as far as the number of authors, what percentage of them are paying for additional support to update their website, to make changes, to
I would say probably, probably like between 90-95% of people have the support. And the support is for anything like, let's say you like Elaine, she wanted, or Nadine, when she wanted to redo her website, the look of it. So that time went toward rebuilding the look of the website. Or if someone calls and say, Greg, I inserted this picture and it didn't go where I wanted, I can log in and fix it for them, or I can give them instructions on how to do that. So it's for, making updates to the website, or if you're having trouble making an update, I can help you with those type of updates. Now, some people like Catherine, she's been doing it for a long time now. So, she has the minimal amount of support. So she uses me every once in a while. But as far as, entering her blog, she does that all on her own now. She doesn't need my assistance for that. But she needs me for other things, related to her website. So she still maintains that support.
Greg, you gave me a good segue here. I have to take the bait. Two things. Number one, I know that you do have a video series available that helps explain how to, especially related to the blog, how to update your blog and things like that. Am I correct about that?
Yeah, the video is more related strictly to WordPress itself, like how to. Well, let me do this. Let me. Don't have the video open. I'm just going to bring over this. Let me know when you can see the new screen now.
Okay, there it is.
Okay, so this is basically the back end of your website. I'm going to click on dashboard. So when you first install, these are different things that you see on the dashboard. Over here is the menus that, like here, posts. This is where you're going to add a new post. And so if I click all posts, this will show me all the posts on my website. So right now, this is just one post. So I'm just going to edit this post that's here now. So this is what the editor looks like. You just enter text. You can change the paragraph, bold things, italic, that type of thing, change text colors. So it's kind of like a standard editor. Now, this is mainly for blog posts. However, if you notice this thing, use Divi Builder. Okay, so this is the nice thing about with the new Divi theme. If I want to really jazz this up, I click on that. Now it looks a little different. So now it's kind of like, all right, what's this? Now everything's modular. So let's say right now my text is in this module. And if I want to add a new module, I click on Add New Module. Let's say I want to add an audio file. All I do is click Audio, put in the audio file there, add a title, name, and the artist. I save it, and bam, I got an audio link now. It's that simple with the Divi build, and I can move it around. Oh, I want the audio on top now, or I want a different layout. Let's say I want a specialty layout. Whereas now I want a sidebar column, and I want these columns under here now. So I can just drag them. Oops, let's do this. I can just move them down to this section. And I can put a sidebar in here. I go to that module. Here, sidebar. So that's the nice thing about with the Divi. I can move things around a lot easier to give. That's why all the websites you've seen look so different, because we can move things around easier. Whereas if we go back to Catherine Kerrigan's website, that layout, that's the only layout you can get. It's fixed and there's no changing it. So depending on what you want to do, there's lots of different options. So with the Divi Builder, There's a lot more advanced design. Here it is, advanced design settings. So there's lots of settings in here, and you can tweak this thing like you wouldn't believe and spend a lot of time making changes. And that's where the extra time and effort goes into getting those little special efforts. But typically for the blog posts, you can use the default editor and just put your text in like this. But for the web pages, I use the Divi builders to make it to bring in more of the modules and different functionality to bring a better look out of it, though.
Greg, you did show briefly about audio files. Craig Leonard is got an idea that he's mentioned to me, and if with his website, for example, when I got to CraigLeonard.com, is there a way within Divi that music could start playing automatically?
Probably, but I'm going to recommend no.
Okay.
A lot of people, think about people at work when they go to a website, and if something starts playing and they're not supposed to be on the internet, they're in trouble. So, you don't want audio playing automatically for people. You want them to control what they want to do, because first thing you don't want to annoy somebody like, I don't want to hear that right now. I want to do something else. I want to find something different. So I discourage having automatic, especially with videos too. You don't want videos to start playing right away, because depending on where they're at, they don't want the sound going. They could be at a meeting or a seminar themselves, and they're bored and they're just doing, surfing the internet, and all of a sudden starts playing, or maybe they're in church. You don't want that to go off while they're sitting in church either. So
thanks for sharing that, Greg, because that is one of the most annoying things on certain websites when the video comes on and you're just reading the news or something like that. It is kind of a very annoying kind of thing.
Now, do you see Jasmina's website?
Yes.
So Jasmina, I took her author website and her business website and combined it into one. Now, you notice she has the message banner across the top, scrolling through different things. She has a video on top, doesn't play automatically. We have to click it, and she has her welcome message here. Now, she has one of those very long web pages, home pages. Now, you think about it, when you're on your phone, you're just flicking, so you can quickly go through everything on the home page. So you can, get the discount. You can see her services, her different coaching programs. Here's an interview with her, audio interview. And down here is another type of pop-up. Now, it doesn't show up until I scroll down the page like 40%. So it shows up in the little corner here where it's not right in the middle of everything, but it's still there. It'll stay there. I can leave it there if I want as I'm going through the information. And then down below, okay, here's her book and a video about her book, links to purchase her book. And then here's embedded audio files. So, I can start playing the different audio files.
Greg, those videos that she's got, are those essentially being hosted at YouTube, or are they not?
Yes, they are, and I do recommend that, because YouTube being a part of Google, that means they're indexing it, and that's another avenue for you to get traffic. People might find you on YouTube first, and then if you've uploaded that video and put a link to your website, now that person can come back to your website, or vice versa. They come to your website first. They play the video, okay, and you see the little YouTube down here? If I go to that, that's going to take me to her YouTube channel. Now I can see any other videos that she might have. And then, so now she's being able to expand people learning more about her as well. And that other channel, same with you, Rama. Like if someone finds one of your videos and they go to your channel, they're going to see all your Rama On Writing webinars. So utilize that if you can do, even if it's like a meditation video, or maybe you're just trying to get a viral video, something like that to promote your book,
Mary Stevenson requested that you show her website as well.
Okay, let's go to. It's amazing how many names I remember in my head with all these different author domain names. So here again, so here's Mary's, now the animation there of the book coming in. So that's a setting as well. So things like that, they're not extra. I do that as part of the normal setup. So again, we have a different heading background at the top. We have the sky background, which is related to part of her book. And then click here to read more. It's like a call to action. So as you see the animation that changes as I move the mouse over it.
And this is also the Divi theme?
Yes, it is. So we click here, go about the author. And then over here, see, now we have a solid side or header banner with text, whereas other people, there was imagery. So sometimes the solid works better because it might not be as distracting, and it's more in line with like the color of the book. So when Mary does her next book, whatever color that book is, we can change the headings to match that book cover then. So on the sidebar here, these are on all the interior pages of the book, of the website, I mean. Now, when I say interior, I mean not the home page. When I click on the home page has a totally different look. This is kind of like the landing page. This is like first time someone gets here, you're capturing their attention. You got the background images that's bringing people in, like, oh, wow, check out that image. That's a pretty cool sunset. So then any of the interior pages, like the blog, so now you can see the images with the posts, but then this content is the same on each of the interior pages. However, with Divi, we can have separate sidebar pages for every page. You can make this different on every single page. Other themes, you get one sidebar, and whatever you put in the sidebar, that's the way it is. But with Divi, I can have a custom sidebar for every single page if I wanted to.
Greg, let me ask you another dumb question. If I contacted you today and started my website development, can you take us through a series of steps and maybe give us an idea of how much time it would actually take to have a live website up and running?
Yeah, assuming the perfect universe that I have all the information, I have all the pictures, I have every piece of social media link, I have everything that I need to know about your website all at one time. I could probably finish if and I didn't have any phone calls or emails to answer, I could probably finish the website in one calendar day, within a 24-hour period. But that's assuming straight through nonstop type of thing. Whereas I've been telling people now, it depends on how much information flows into me, because sometimes I don't get everything right away. So we do as much as we can. And that could spread out over time then doing that. But if to get the basics, meaning like you're just starting out and let's say your book's not ready yet. But what we want to do is we want to get a homepage. If you have your book cover, that's great. If not, then we can just talk about it. You can talk about the book here on the homepage, get people interested in it, and then have a newsletter sign up like we have here on Mary's. So that way you're capturing contacts now before the book's ready. We can put your About the Author page. So we can talk about you and who you are. And then we can also start your blog. And that way you can keep your website active for the search engines so that you're getting traffic. Let's say you're publishing your book until January, February. Between now and then, you could be posting a blog post every single week. And now the search engines are really tracking you because you've been active that long. So if you started and we waited till December or January to build the website, well, now your website's brand new and search engines don't know anything about you. So you have very little traffic and you just released your book. So, and you have no contacts to reach out to. So starting now when your book's not ready is the best thing you can do, because I want you to have at least about the book, because you can tell me what the book's about and you can tell me about yourself, and you can start writing posts and we can start contacting or collecting email addresses and then the contact page. So as far as your other pages, testimonials, those can be added later on.
Okay, I have two questions. One is from Gene, and I think what she's getting at is how much of the web development do you do versus how much does the author do? And my answer to that, and why don't you correct me if I'm wrong, is that the author's responsibility is to give you the information that you need to put it up. And the author, in that case, doesn't really have to do anything other than provide information. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So if we're looking at Mary's website here, I did everything that you see. The only thing that Mary did was these blog posts. She started adding her own blog posts. Now, she may have gone in and tweaked some of the content that I initially put on the website, because she can do that. She has that ability when she logs into her website. Like let's say she wants to add more to the About the Author page or remove some information that was on there. She has that ability. But as far as getting everything like looking like this is everything that I do for you. You don't have to do this. The only thing you're really concerned about is writing blog posts. So like here, the time is now. So
So Greg, it's Jean. Can I clarify a little bit?
yeah, sure.
Thank you. So if I really want you to do something more that looks a little bit more fantasy than I'm writing fiction. So if I want something that is really going to be more geared to teen and fiction and look a little bit more fun, fantasy, reach a younger audience, is that something that you can do? I will know what my requirements are, and I will write down what I want the site to do, but I don't know how to make it look great and be very functional. And I am getting that thing that you suggested.
By providing me like the proper imagery, that can help. Like for instance, I'm going to show you a website here. This is Diamira D'Agostino. This is her other website, Fairy Light, which I redid. I mean, tell me if you see it yet.
There it is.
So by the images that she gave me, I'm able to add these background images, and we've kind of worked together like, okay, here, click here, enter fairy portal. You know, there's no image here, but yet it's a clickable thing, and it talks about her book. So just by using these images, it changes the whole look of it. So if you provide me with those type of graphics, and yeah, I can do, you know, things like this. Is this what you're relating to?
Yes, it is something a little bit more original, something a little bit more fantasy. Yes, it
Yeah.
does.
I
So,
don't do the graphics myself, so that you would want to get like either an illustrator or a graphic designer to provide that type of those assets.
yes, and I am researching illustrators. My goal is to have the book cover illustration by the first week of October. And I haven't sent my form in to you because I just hit a lot of speed bumps trying to get a good book cover design. So
Right.
if I'm able to meet with you with all of my stuff the second week of October, can we get something going with the website in October? I'm releasing the book in February. I'm assuming that that's in good timing.
Yeah, that should work. Now, like right now, I've been telling the authors, like, you know, 2-week turnaround from the time you give me your information. That way you can have something to look at, and we can start, you know, you can see what it's turning out to be, and maybe if you want something changed or whatever. So,
Greg, let me ask a question here that might clarify some things. This tree on Diamira's website, is that an image that she found on the internet to be used?
yes, I do have some links to different stock image companies, and then there's also some links to like free download companies. But yeah, she provided the imagery that she wanted to present on her website. I mean, if you wanted me to do that, that's the thing. It's, you know, it's a lot of time, and you'll notice when you start to look for images, it takes time, and it's going to be easier for you to find what you want as opposed to me guessing what you want, because I've tried that before where someone said, can you find me this, and I would find something like, well, that's close, and it's just too much trial and error. It's very time consuming. So it's easier because you know what you want. As soon as you see it, you know, oh yeah, this is it. And with the stock image companies, you can download they call them comp images, and I can throw them in there, and it won't look exactly right, and it's like says iStock all over it, you know. but at least you'll have an idea like, yeah, that's going to work or no. And we did that with the mirrors for a while. We just worked with comp images until we got it the way, she wanted it.
Okay, thank you. And are you able to put in a carousel with that theme that you had suggested?
I love how people read my mind.
Okay.
Okay, so can you see Bernadette Romero's website?
Yep.
Okay, so on her homepage, she has like what you call like it's a slider or type of carousel. Now, this is a smaller version, so the navigation arrows show up and I can click to scroll through different images. Now, each of these these call to action buttons go to a specific page on her website. Now,
Greg,
a full length carousel, like some of them, there's full width, the whole width of the website. So if you have some good imagery for that, then we can make that work. But there again, if you got to have the right picture, like you couldn't put a picture of the Eiffel Tower on a wide slider like that. You would need something that's more landscape or panoramic or panorama.
Greg, can those revolving images be done on a timer as opposed to an arrow and a click?
Yeah, you can set it up so that it revolves it, after so many seconds.
Okay, I have one question that came up during the week in one of my webinars. If I want to set up my blog and only my blog for my website first thing, okay? My book's not ready. I don't want to really bother writing up about the author stuff, but I want to start posting my blogs onto my website. Is there a problem related to that?
No, we can set up the blog as the homepage temporarily, and that's all we see. That and a contact page, or a capture page, so that people that are coming to the website, they can, sign up to be notified when things change or the book's released. So yeah, we can start that as a minimal thing. If you don't have those other pages written yet, and you just want to blog for now. And it just be basically the blog is the homepage, and we can have a sidebar area, and that's it. There's nothing else going on. But at least your website's up and active, and then you can build upon it.
Thank you, Greg. That was, as I say, something that came up during the week, and we wanted to be able to get a couple of the authors blogging right away because they were asking, well, where does my blog go? And this would be a way of setting it up, and then probably the next step would be to have your social media components related to it. Tom Pitts, you have a question. You're going to have to unmute yourself because I can't see you.
Yeah, right at this point, I want to start talking about overwhelm. And I'm used to some of this stuff, and I'm getting a little brain fog going here. So I just want to encourage to reiterate what Rama just said. Just get something up there and start working with your website. As a matter of fact, a couple of weeks ago, I changed the theme on my website to something a lot simpler. And it really encourages blogging because that the blogs just roll up the screen. So I don't know, what can you and Greg help us out on just getting rid of all this information overload we got, and just really encourage people to start, because it does get a lot simpler and a lot of these terms become more familiar.
Why don't we start by taking a look at Tom Pitts' website, just to see, if it's as stark as he's saying it is.
Well, I tell you also what Greg said about getting started now. You couldn't find me when you do a Google search on the web search. You couldn't find me. You just type in my name, Tom space Pitts, P-U-E-T-Z, and on my web browser I come up on top now because I've been active on the web for a year now almost. And I did put up my website, I think, a few months before the book.
Yeah, it takes time for the search engines to, I mean, we don't have a schedule. Search engines come when they want to come. And you may have your website up for 3 months and search engines haven't found it, but more likely they'll find it fairly quick. But as far as ranking, yeah, it might take a while to you build up some credibility that, hey, you've been around the website internet for a while and you start to rank higher and higher. So, I mean, my author website's been around for a while, and I think, I'm still at like page 5 of, it fluctuates, it goes up and down. But one thing I noticed when I started putting some blog posts out, it started creeping up the pages. And so, meaning I'm showing activity on the website. And I also happened to post something that people wanted information on. There was a problem I remember with something with WordPress, and I was doing research and I figured out a workaround for it. And so I posted my results, and people found it useful, and that gained me a lot of traffic. So it makes a big difference. Now, looking at Tom's, okay, clear. Can you see Tom's website?
Yep.
So yeah, the theme he had, now right here, it's all his menus are going down the side, and his home page is his blog, looks like. And these are all comments from people. Actually, let's see. This looks like the basic 2015 theme that comes with WordPress.
Yeah, I think I saw a note on the chat bar that it was the 2015.
Yeah, it looks like your home page is just showing one post. And then these look like these are different blog categories that you have set up as menus. Yeah, these are, so you took your categories and made them each a menu when you made the switch.
Now, Tom, did you do this, or did you have Greg do this for you?
I did that about 2 months ago. I was playing around with my web page and I got it a little bit screwed up. So I called Greg and he put it back in order. So I wasn't afraid to, theme up, let me try a new theme. And I just kind of liked this one because it was simpler and it really oriented me towards getting my author platform out there. It's not, this webpage is not to sell that one book. And you notice over there on the left, I have Tom's Books, plural. There's only one up there now. I'm going to put another one up there, coming out in the spring, And that does two things. Helps my commitment to getting that book out in the spring. And it says, here's an author that's a genuine author publishing. So I just was not getting any results trying to sell books off my website. It just so I'm using it to build my web presence and brand myself. And then off of that, I can sell a book.
And that's a great way to approach it. I've seen a lot of articles like that. People say, well, I'm going to make $1 million off my blog, and it's more about you build the presence, you build your authority, and then that will then translate into people buying whatever you're promoting at that time because they've invested in you, and whatever you have, it doesn't matter because the fact that they're invested in you now, they're going to want whatever you have. Just coming to a website to see the book, they might say, well, I don't really know enough about this author yet. So you want to build up that rapport with your followers and more engaged. Like I've done that myself with authors. Like I took a chance, bought one of their books. Wow, I really like their writing style. And now whatever they put out, I want to buy, so it's building that rapport with your audience. And that's a good approach, build that rapport. And then, as you said, when you add more books, then it becomes, you can say, hey, they've read your second book. Well, now they might go back and buy your first book now, and so on and so on. So no matter when you capture somebody's attention throughout your career, or of when you're blogging, they might go back through and check out all your old books too.
Hey, I just want to share and reiterate what Tom Pitts just said. He was, running into a situation that I think we all face, that it's hard to sell books off a website because it's hard to compete with Amazon. Everyone has a credit card loaded up on Amazon. Everyone has an Amazon account. It's very difficult to compete head to head. Not to say, I'll bet you if we scroll down here on Tom's book here that he's got a link somewhere that says buy my book, or maybe he doesn't, but yeah, there it is. Mm-hmm. Now he's going directly to Amazon. He could have that link go to what's called the CreateSpace eStore for fulfillment of that order as well. And if he did that, he would get a few bucks more per book if they clicked on that. The bottom line, though, is it's still very difficult to compete against Amazon. Whether you like them or not, Amazon and Google rule the world.
And I wanted the book sales to go on that Amazon to increase my Amazon rankings. If I sell 10 books on my own website, I get another, $30? I'd rather that be traffic on my Amazon book page just to increase its ranking.
And if later on Tom decides that he doesn't want to go that route, it's not difficult to change where that buy button goes to. That's the beauty about the web, is that we can change things. This is not in concrete. This is not permanent. Before we run out of time, I really want to have other people ask questions if they have it. So Greg, how about either dumping the screen share so I can see everybody if they need help unmuting themselves, that way we can I can see if people, or if they want to reference something that you've shown them, then they can unmute themselves. I just can't see everybody all at once with the screen share on.
All right, let me click through the rest of the slide here.
So as you can see, there's a lot more information that Greg can give us. Greg, I mean, I don't want to interrupt your flow. I mean, if you have some more points that you really want to make, why don't you do that, and we can run it along.
Yeah, I'll just do real quick. Now, some of the enhancements, I was pointing them out as I was going. Tom does provide some of these for your website. You get the WordPress website security. You get the premium theme, which would include Divi, but not all of the extra customizations that it would include. So you also get keyword phrase research, just the phrase, not the full optimized web page. And you also get the WordPress video training links. So, but these are other things that are available. And then shopping carts, like, Tom is doing it direct through Amazon, but these other authors, they are selling other products and services. So they have an actual shopping cart themselves, a full shopping cart. So those are available too. And in conclusion, have your website built before your book's completed. Use colorful imagery on your website and blog posts to capture people's attention. Your website is a central location for your marketing. All your other marketing avenues should lead back to your website. And then be sure to capture emails from your visitors and keep your website active by blogging on a regular basis. And that's it. And I'll show my contact information real quick again in case anybody needed that. And now I got to find the button to disable the...
It should be at the top of the Zoom screen.
Stop sharing. All right.
Okay, now I can see everyone. Just one more thing, Greg. I think that in the past you've also provided the coding for Google Analytics in the website. Is that correct?
No, that was when someone got SEO. That was something that's added on. So I do offer that service to add Google Analytics and Webmaster Tools configurations.
Okay.
So that is not included. No. In the beginning, at one time, it was part of it, but the Publish Now package changed. So.
Sounds good. Now, anyone have questions? Dawn, you've unmuted yourself. I don't know if you've a question for Greg or not, but since you unmuted first.
Yeah, I'd like to know your opinion, Greg, on multiple websites. So I'm having my business website completely redesigned, and that's happening right now. And my question is whether I should just add my book to that website. But then I hear people say, well, it's actually great to have your author website besides, because that drives people to multiple websites about you. So I'm curious about your thoughts.
Well, I'm gonna say multiple websites, but then I'm gonna give you the caveat. I'm gonna say, if you're gonna have multiple websites, keep them both active. If you're gonna have me build the author website and it's just gonna sit, then it's kind of, just wasting away. If you're going to be more active on your business website, then just use that. But it's better to have, you may hear people talk about backlinks. And basically, it's a link from somebody's website back to your website. So if you're linking from your business website to your author site, that's a backlink back to your author website. That's one extra backlink for you. So it helps, and it also helps build credibility, because let's say your business website has gained a lot of credibility now. It's been around for years, and now you're linking to this new author website. That author website's got a lot of credibility now because it's backlinked from a very popular website. So in that sense, it's helpful. But make sure, if you just want your author website to more or less be like a landing page with information, that's okay too. But that way you can kind of say, oh, if you want to read about the book, click here. Okay, here's the static information. Nothing's changing about it. More of a reference page, so to speak. So depends on how you want to approach it. If you're going to be active on both.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? Okay, Dolores, you've unmuted yourself.
I have a question about the landing page, which I guess is the home page, right? Versus the author page. So my question is, while we're promoting our book, can we make our author page the landing page, and then our home page the next click, and then leave the author page there for that book and create a new author page when we get a new book, and just keep rotating like that?
Okay, let's try to get everyone on the same page with terminology here. The website, I consider the author website. When you say author page, I want to clarify that to say, are you saying you're about the author page or your book page, or were you referring to your website?
Okay, so I have a website, and then I have a page on that website that is all about me. That's the beginning of it, right? That's the home page, right?
Not necessarily. The one that's all about you could be a separate page that's just called the About the Author page. But and then landing page, a landing page is something that you're funneling people to. You want everyone to go to this page first.
I see.
But the home page is the home of your website. So if you think of a house, okay, your landing page in your house is the front door. You want everyone to come through the front door. But you might have a back porch that could be the landing port. Like people are coming in for the patio party in the back instead of going through the front door. You don't know how they're going to get there. So, but that could be a landing page, because let's say you're going to do a Facebook promotion and you're going to use this other page as the landing page because you're promoting something special and you got all kinds of coupons on that page and special giveaways. So people are landing on that particular page. They might be able to get to your homepage from there, but it's more of you're directing them there because you're advertising something specific for them to land there.
So, and that's dynamic. You can keep changing that all the time.
Yeah, and with the Divi theme, it's nice that they have a template specifically for like a splash page or a landing page that has no menu. So it appears as if, you're doing like a book promotion there, and it could be a huge long advertising page all about the book, and that's all it does. Like if you're going to kind of like what Denise is doing for the authors, for the bestseller program, she's creating a landing page. Its job is to promote the book and get you to buy the book by clicking on that link.
Okay.
Can I clarify for a second? I think what Dolores is really getting at is the first page that somebody sees when they get to your website. And
that would be the home page.
Yeah, so that would be the home page. And if we wanted them to get to our blog first, we can make our blog the home page. If we wanted to have a page about the book being the first home page, then we could have that. And the clarification is also what Greg just mentioned. Denise does a landing page specific to the book launch, okay? And if you'll click on some of the links to the email that I sent out, I was able to find 2 of those landing pages in my email, and I was able to find Helene's, and I was able to find Catherine Carrigan. So if you want to take a look at what Denise does, you can click on those links. I was not able to find James Parker's landing page, so all I did was put his Amazon link on. You know, I gave up after, you know, spending about 10 minutes looking around and said, well, the goal is to get them to go to Amazon and buy the book. So, you know, it served essentially the same purpose. So there are 2 things. Usually the landing page is set up to sell a product. Any other questions?
Nope. That's it. Thanks.
Amy, do you have a question?
Yeah, real quick. Since there is an awful lot of information that got encapsulated in Greg's slide presentation, in addition to having the recording, obviously, of the presentation, is it possible that we could get a copy of the slides?
Yeah, I'll see what I can do to get about getting that created for you.
Greg, if you create a link to that slide series, I can send a link out, and I can also post the link on the YouTube component as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'll send you the PDF, Rama, or I'll just make it available on my website and then give Rama the link, or vice versa, or both.
I think that this is really a good question, because the goal here, gang, is to get you to Greg's website. Okay, if I give you the PDF, that's all fine and good, but if I can get you to Greg's website, then he gets an advantage, and that's what our goal is with our web presence, is to always get things back to the website. And if I set up a link in the YouTube description, then Greg's website receives a backlink, and Google gives him another brownie point. So you know, that would be the desired approach to do if we can.
Yeah, actually my first thought was like, oh, well, if you sign up for my newsletter, I'll put a link in my welcome email. And I thought, well, then, you know, people might be getting it and wondering, why am I getting this this webinar link or these slides? So I thought that might confuse people. So again, always think about what you can offer people too, you know, for enticement. So that's why my head went there first. Like, what can I offer to get people to join my mailing list so that I have contacts? But Rama's exactly right. You want to drive traffic toward your website. So I put that link or on a web page in my website and say, oh, you know, here, check out this Rama On Writing, because then I can promote Rama and then put a link to his where the video actually exists that goes with the PDF download. So now we're kind of working back and forth here at the same time. So we're helping each other out. And then when people click on that YouTube link, they're going to his channel and they say, oh my gosh, look at all these other writing webinars that I can watch. So,
well, and another reason I want a copy of the slides is because then I have the website info ready to hand so that I can get to it easily and know where I can find it.
Yeah, and when I start working with, like, if some of the authors here that I haven't actually worked with, or haven't had a conversation yet, I have a checklist, and also have a Publish Now website list that kind of gives you what you get with the Publish Now. And then the checklist kind of goes through a lot of things, like decide on a domain, decide on hosting, decide on email marketing, decide on which enhancements you want. Do you want a 3D book cover? Do you want to add SEO? Did you set up your Facebook link? So it kind of goes through everything that you will cover about your website for you to make decisions on, or the process, the flow, so you can kind of see it mapped out ahead of time. First thing I'm going to say is, don't get overwhelmed when you see a list. I always tell my authors, look, we're going to take this at your pace. I want you to be comfortable with how things are going. I don't want to overwhelm you with information and things that are going on. So that's one thing I want to keep, in front of everyone's mind, is that relax. We're going to go slow as you need to.
Well, I won't necessarily, once I am ready to go, need to be all that slow. 20 years or so in IT, and familiarity with database software and stuff like that. I'm probably not going to need a whole lot of hand-holding, except just the initial ramp up with the particular software and maybe an occasional question. But getting the slides now before I'm really ready to put out a web presence allows me to know the sorts of things I need to be thinking about, and it can be backburnered in my subconscious, percolating what I might want to be doing with it.
Okay.
And that's I think probably useful for even other folks who aren't quite even close enough to publishing their book to be getting the it's almost like you don't want the web presence out there too soon, because if you start hinting that you're an author, well, they start tapping their foot and saying, okay, when's it coming out? A year later might not be such a great idea. Just a thought.
Well, and Rama will probably back me up, because he's said it with, like, in his bike shop, they start promoting new bikes like almost a year or 6 months before the new bike comes out. So by you being active, even though you're saying, yeah, I'm writing a book, you don't have to focus on that way people aren't thinking, oh, where's the book? Where's the book? You could be writing about anything you want. You could write about your travel. You could write about things that your hobbies, your crafts, current events. So it's not necessarily focused on the book. You're building up your audience. That's what you're doing. And then you spring on them. Oh, by the way, I've just completed my book. Oh, well, that's great, because I love your articles that you write. So yeah, I'll buy that book, no problem. So there's not even a second thought about even buying it. It's just an automatic thing.
Good point.
Jean, if you want to unmute yourself with your other question.
Thanks, Greg. I have written blogs in the voice of my protagonist, a 12-year-old girl, and I had my niece read them. So I have audio files. I'm going to work with Denise Casino to add some video stuff to that. So should I post those on YouTube and then put a link on my author website that then goes out to YouTube to look at those videos?
Yeah, when you create the YouTube account, make sure it's not like your personal account. It's strictly for the book or you as an author. That's one thing. And then you have the choice. You can either have a link goes to YouTube, or you can actually embed the video into the web page itself.
All right, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions before we say goodbye?
I have one.
Okay, go Donna.
Do you work with people that have already contracted with Social Ally?
Social Ally.
Greg, let me give you the answer. You already do. You work with Catherine Carrigan. She works with Social Ally. Social Ally is a dashboard for posting to social media and blogging and stuff. And you know, I think that you know, there is some ways that Greg can work with it. He does not know the system. Like Greg does know Constant Contact, okay? He can help you set up your Constant Contact, set up templates and things like that, but he can't really help you work with your Social Ally because he really isn't versed in that.
Okay.
But
So-
yes, I mean, I can build the website and then, you know, give you the information that you need to plug into your Social Ally account to link to that. But I think Catherine, I don't know if she posts her blog post through that as well. I can't remember, but I know she does.
I think she does, although I'm not sure. You know, Catherine has a lot of tools in her arsenal. She realizes that you know, having a broader approach to getting social media out there works better than just having one small funnel. And she has worked with a lot of different programs. Some she's you know, worked with a while and said, no, this doesn't work for me. And so she's changed things, and, you know, she's got a pretty good system in place. I know that we got Leah all set now to get her blog going. I wanted to say that, Craig, you got your camera going, so I'm not the only ugly mug on this system. And you know, I think we answered your music question a little bit. I'm not sure if we answered it completely, but I think that we've got things you know, going in the right direction. I don't know if we had any other specific questions. We probably will bring Greg back to talk about Constant Contact again. We've done it a number of times. Greg is a regular webinar presenter for us. And I think, Greg, that this is the best webinar that you and I have put out. This was a good one.
It's all that practice.
Yeah, it's all that practice. And I think we got a lot of authors engaged and ready to move. I want to kind of prep next week's webinar. I think it's going to be really important because I am going to walk through the complete Publish Now timeline program, what's expected of you, what are some of the pitfalls. I'd love to have some of the members, some of the authors that have gone through to share their experiences as well, because I always like incorporating the scenarios that we've experienced, and that can help others as well. These webinars are recorded, gang, and they're posted. In addition to being recorded, Tom records all his webinars, but he doesn't post them because he hasn't, you know, he's not the tech geek like I am. And I will be bringing up a new YouTube private channel for the new beta group that just started, and this will be open for some of the old returning authors like James Parker. You'll get access to it, and some of the other authors that have requested. You know, I can't get Tom to you know, do too many beta groups at once, so we've kind of come to a you know, conclusion that if I get those webinars up, that will at least provide access to the information. And again, Greg, I really want to thank you. This was a great webinar. I think people really got the information incorporated now and are ready to rock. And I expect to see Leah's blog up there very shortly, and maybe my own blog, because that would be a cool thing too. And everybody, go to Amazon and buy James Parker's Kindle. Help him get to #1. Helene, Secrets and Deceptions. I can never remember her last name. It's Gufelder. And of course, Catherine Carrigan, Banish the Blues Now. Let's all help them hit #1. Thanks, everyone. It's been a great webinar.
Thanks, Rama.
Thanks, Greg.
And Greg, send me that